Fighters. One of them, come on.
Ever do it in the country of Cuba? No, I guess it's.
I don't know about one of the greatest, but yeah, if you're going to throw in from the country of Cuba. One of the greatest to ever allow me to win, I don't know, 157 golf tournaments back in the day, Tom Shey. Tom, what's up?
Randy, thanks for having me.
And am I exaggerating?
We did win a lot in the beginning. It's like, what happened to that run, though? We need to get on that train again.
People dwindled. John Cerruti, may he rest in peace. I don't know if you remember John. That tragedy, Jay Nash down in Sarasota, I'm not even sure where that ended up. David Graham moved. But Matt, when I tell you that we were unstoppable, it was sick. It was stupid. It shouldn't have been allowed. But, and if you remember, people would look at us, when we would come in and what's a realistic celebrity tournament where you're playing best ball? A realistic 20 under, 19 under?
Yeah, if you're, I always say, listen, if you're 20 or 21, you're using a pencil. But, hey, if you're making eagles, you can go low. So.
We would come in 23, on par fives,
they
were
legit.
eagles.
Yeah,
They were, and it was all these guys that can't cheat. Now, I played with, matter of fact, I took a picture of a guy here, so I'm not going to say his name. But he is very famous. He's been on some of the biggest TV shows ever. And we played in a tournament where the celebrities were playing for money, and he used his phone.
Old foot wedge, there you go.
And I want to talk about a bunch of things, but I don't remember if you were on the particular force on the fives and whatever it was, where I kicked someone off in the middle of the tournament and replaced him with a female golfer.
I do remember that. I do remember. Well, take the advantage of the forward tees, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's been a while, and I want to talk about you, but I still want to thank you because you drove with me from Tampa to Orlando. When was Tiger Woods a rookie?
Oh, that was 96, 97.
And I emceed the unveiling of Tiger Woods' website. This was so far back we used Polaroid cameras and no photos and cameras and all that kind of stuff. So that was definitely an experience. But what are you doing?
Well, listen, real quick. Our favorite part of that is he drove himself. Remember?
Yeah.
And we were wondering if he was driving a Buick. I don't think he was.
Got at the top, yeah. And he drove straight there, got there safe and sound, and got home safe and sound.
Exactly.
So, you still playing? You still?
Listen, I've always been junior golf. For the last 12 years, I've been the Tampa Tour Director for U.S. Kids. I was at Berkeley for 15 years coaching. Gave that up a couple of years ago. Junior golf. So,
what is junior golf?
Well, it's anybody 18 or younger. We started out with the local tour at 5 to 14-year-olds. We added a teenager division the last couple of years. We train them, we coach them, we get them out there to play. And, kids being kids. Because what's the only problem with kids?
They need a stick in their hand.
Well, sometimes the parents come with them. So I like to joke. We just had 350 kids at Innisbrook for one of our regionals. And I say, hey, we have 350 kids. What's that come with 7 parents? Unfortunately. But for the most part, they're good. And again, just getting kids exposed to the game and continue to grow. COVID threw the whole area of golf. But junior golf, we exploded.
So I'm curious, and like soccer is so big worldwide because you don't need a lot of money. It's a soccer ball. You can play on the beach. You can play in the backyard. How is golf accessible, especially to young children, to be able to go out, and play around?
Well, U.S. Kids is a good avenue. Listen, we have certified coaches. We have training programs. We try to graduate them to the golf course. But listen, the big thing now, Randy, is the par threes are making. Rocky Point is about to open one. They've got a couple hidden gems out there. How many times have you driven by Tampa Bay Golf and Country Club on 75? They got a par three course nobody uses. We've been using it for U.S. Kids, but those are becoming avenues again because of time restraints. But any kind of par three, I think they're trying to redo the one down at Treasure Island. So, that part of the game is coming back. Time restraints, distance, and just making it fun again. So not only for kids but for adults as well.
So along the line, Randy talking about accessibility, at what age do kids need to start getting out there in order to actually make it into a career to be at a PGA Tour level?
3.
Because some sports you peak, right? Like your team, like Olympic swimmers, gymnastics. What's the peak age for golfer at the time?
You know, it's funny. Part of me doesn't even want to touch the subject because, listen, we get kids that are great at 7, but they burn out at 10 because of their parents. So I think it's just if you can keep it fun and you watch. I mean, I've watched it. I've watched these kids, graduate and they've developed their talent and they've gotten good because. I think the biggest thing is, hey, show them how to win, but show them how to enjoy the game at the same time, and then it grows. So, we've had some burnout. Kids are tired of the sport and want to do other sports, and then that's where the parents get involved and the friction gets involved there. But, I mean, really, the game is more accessible than anything. Now, forever, I would say at the age of 7. Now I'm at 5, but Randy said 3, and he's not wrong. I mean, listen, we've got a whole booth full of short clubs or training grips on it that you can get a kid on a putting green and they just love putting it in the hole. So really, as long as they can hold the club and not hurt anybody or themselves.
Paul Stanley just said who was, he was your setup person. He was on for you. He said he still can't get the ball in the bounce. So explain to me, as a golfer, I know you're an excellent golfer. How come your best shot is always like on the 18th? So that you're like, hey, okay, I finally got it. I'm going to come and spend another $80 and play again next week. If I could get that great shot in the first hole and then play like crap the rest, I wouldn't waste all this money. I don't know if you were involved in this, and if you were, I still dislike you for it. All of my ringers, which you were one of those, used to do side bets on how long it would take to use one of my balls. Now again, it's unfair. I mean, there's zeros, and I'm a 412.
So he's got a free ride on the golf course.
I keep flashing back to Bel Air, which is now Pelican. But I remember it was like the 12th or 13th hole until we got here.
And I'm sure it was a putt.
But no. I think it was actually a drive.
Really?
Because I think we let you go up forward a little bit. So. Yeah, and I think it was a tournament we had to use one of the drives. So we figured out, let's get it out of the way now. That worked.
It's one of the things that I enjoy, and my son and I have started. We play the Murray Invitational, which is in memory of my dad. So we'll always do it in the week of his passing and all that kind of stuff. And I love it more now because I just go out. I don't care. I go to so many PGA golf shows. I have so many golf balls. I know I'm going to lose them, and I'm okay with it. And I'll bring 400 balls and go home with 3, and just have a good day. People behind me don't like it.
Randy, my favorite story is there was an article in Golf Digest years ago that said play golf with 3 most obnoxious friends. I had 3 older obnoxious brothers. So they would throw stuff at me. So I like noise. So playing with you and the group that we had fun. Because there's a lot of grinders out there and they want to win. It's like, really? But it's the fun factor that's the most important thing.
I worked for a guy, and I don't remember his name, and he was all in the golf world, and he was a 0 and all this crap. And we went out to play one time, and I walked behind him, and he yelled at me, and I walked in his sight line of the shadow. I quit playing golf with him and quit the job as well. I'm like, hey, I don't need that, and I want to go out and just have a good time.
Randy, I've been saying this for years. Hey, maybe this is where we launch it. I've been wanting to do a noise tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
Forever. Turn up the radios, throw stuff. I mean, the only way that I cannot play is if you get me laughing, which is usually pretty easy.
So when are we going to hit the golf course?
Every morning. I'm still at the Eagles.
I got a DJ. Last night.
Still at the Eagles. I mean, wherever we want to play, man. You tell me.
Good stuff. Hey, it was good hanging out. It was good seeing you.
Hey, listen, I'm glad I called. I didn't realize you were going to be here. I appreciate having me on, and we will definitely stay in touch.
And you need to reach out to Paul Stanley for being your setup guy.
I will. Thank you, Paul Stanley.
All right, let's go to break. We are at the top of the hour. I believe he's the long drive champ when we return. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Men Strong. Stop.